Haley, are we gonna make your bed a big girl bed? Daddy's gonna make it a big girl bed? Yeah. Kiki, what do you think? Are you gonna sleep in a big boy bed? No, you're not? You are? Okay. Let's see what happens. You're holding the hammer nice. What's Daddy doing to your bed? Get in, Kiki. Ooh.
Haley, you want us to do it to your bed? Okay.
No.
Lay down, try it out. What do you think?
Yeah.
You like it? Haley, what do you think? Do you like it?
Yeah.
You do? Haley, do you like it? Oh my goodness. Now we gotta go get a comforter for you. Well, nap day 1 has been horrendous. We put them down at 12:45. It is now 2:20. I usually wake them up at 3. As you can see, this is Keegan's bed. I think he would sleep if she would stay out of his bed. But I go in there and I put her back in her bed, and before I even get back to the couch, she's back in his bed. So, not going well. So I moved their pandas. I had to move the diapers. We took the changing table out. All this stuff, everything's out. Horrendous. Hopefully bedtime's a little bit better. So the update is Keegan went to sleep at 2:15. Haley was on his bed leaning over top of him crying for him to wake up. So I went in, made her lay down, laid down next to her, calmed her down, told her Daddy was working because at this point she was so mad at me. I finally convinced her to lay down. She begged me to leave because again she's mad at me, and I told her I didn't want her to get up, and basically if she laid in bed she could watch The Grinch when she woke up, what she loves, and she went to sleep. So now it is 3:15. I usually wake them up at 3 and then they go to bed at 7:30. She didn't go to bed till 2:45, so I'm gonna let them sleep till 3:30, 3:45, knowing that bedtime is going to take a while. I still want to just put them back in their cribs, but I know that we're gonna have this issue at any point, so we'll see how tonight goes. We may or may not take the chair out. My husband's gonna anchor the dresser and the bookshelf because during nap I was watching them the whole time, so I knew if they were climbing on anything. So we're gonna anchor those and we will see how tonight goes. I will let you know. So this is the setup now. We've removed changing table. This, as you can see, is safety bolted back there to the wall. This is Keegan's bed. We've removed everything but a few stuffed animals. That I haven't bolted. It's really heavy. We also are gonna watch them till they fall asleep on the camera, and I know that I will wake up if I hear them. So we'll see. Haley's bed. So it's night 1. We put them down 15 minutes ago, and I think we've only been in twice. And I don't know, you can't see really well on the camera. They've been messing with it, but they're laying down. I think we got kind of lucky because they're super tired because they didn't really nap that well, but as I speak, someone hollers. But so far it's going okay. We'll see. Okay, so at this point we put them down 45 minutes ago. I just got out of the shower. The whole time I was in the shower, my husband did not have to go in their room once. Probably a half hour after we laid them down was the last time I went in. Like I said, they're both asleep. So far, day 1 nap, horrendous. I got extremely frustrated. I yelled. I am not proud of the way I reacted, and I don't think that helped them. But it's very frustrating. It was like 2 hours, but day 1 nighttime, beautiful. Half an hour, couldn't have gone better. I was much more calm, much more loving, happy with the way I was. So we'll see, but I will let you know how tomorrow goes. So night 2, we thought it would go a little better. Keegan's finally in his bed. We've been in bed for a little less than an hour. Haley's just screaming. She's upset because we wouldn't let her jump on Keegan's head. And now I have no idea. I've been in there. She's laying down, but she's screaming. She doesn't want a blankie. She doesn't want a passy. So we'll see how it goes. Not well so far. Okay, 8:45. We put them down at like 7:50, which we usually do 7:30, but today they were at my mother-in-law's, so we got home a little late. She's finally laying down, not yelling. She got out of bed, got herself a book, and got back in bed. So I will say that is definitely a win. And Keegan is asleep. So far so good. Not terrible. So just a little update from last night. Keegan had fallen asleep. Haley really struggled. She didn't really fall asleep till like after 9, but she did just keep grabbing books to read, and I'm okay with that if it keeps her quiet. They got up at 5:45 again. That's not their usual wake time, so we're working on that. I put them down for a nap at 12:45. It's 1 o'clock and they're already asleep, and it's because I'm a mean mom. So they are still obsessed with their passies, and I went in and I said, you know, if you guys don't lay down, I'm gonna take your passies away, because if you're such big kids that you don't need to lay down for a nap, you don't need passies. And they, you know, laugh because I think they don't think I'm serious half the time. So I left and they were still running around. So I went in and I took their passies, and Keegan hollered and screamed. And I said, when you can show me that you can lay in your bed, I'll bring it back. So they both laid in their bed. I didn't wait too long because I know they won't go to sleep without him. I brought him back and I said, if you get out of your bed again, I'm taking your passies because you obviously don't need them. Not the nicest tactic, but it keeps them in their bed and they're asleep. So we'll see how long they sleep. This is night number 3. They went down 20 minutes ago and they are both reading books in their beds. So far so good. So I wanted to update and kind of wrap up the toddler bed transition. When I last left, I had talked about the first couple nights. They were awful. We'd cleaned out their room, except for their bookcase, and things were starting to get a little better, but not great. I'm gonna show you their room now. So we ended up taking out the bookcase because one of the naps, they emptied the entire bookcase all over the room and were just like running around on top of the books. So all we have now is the dresser, which is bolted to the wall. I think I'd shown you that. We don't have the kind of blinds that you have to worry about choking, but these are the blackout shades. They're just like construction paper, so it's not a big deal. These we've just pulled up so that they don't pull them down and yank them on themselves. So the room is now completely empty. So we did the first week, which you guys saw wasn't that great. Then we went away for Christmas to my parents' house, which is probably not ideal. And we were worried about the transition when we came home. So when we came home, the first night was a little bit, you know, they wanted us to hold their hands, and we kind of just cold turkey said, no, that's not how we do it at home. We go to sleep in our own beds. Honestly, after the first week that you guys saw, it has been fine. So they have been coming in at nap time, laying down. They may need a couple reminders at nap to lay down, a couple reminders at bed, but they've been going to bed, staying in their beds and sleeping, and it has been pretty good. So I just decided to sit down, but I wanted to kind of give you like our tips and tricks. Number 1 is consistency. So make sure that you have an extremely consistent bedtime, nap time schedule. Don't deviate from it. So my kids know that after lunch, they get their diapers changed, we'll do something, watch a little Mickey, and then they know they go for a nap. And it happens every day, whether they're here or at somebody else's house, and they know what to do. I wake them up every day at 3 o'clock. Doesn't matter to me what time they went down for nap. They go in their room at 12:45. They don't fall asleep till 2. I still wake them at 3. Now, obviously this can be different if they're sick, but I find that if I wake them later than 3, then they struggle at bedtime. And every day at 7:15, we go and brush their teeth, get ready, and they're in bed between 7:30 and 7:45 consistently every single night, no matter what. Number 2 is consistency with how you treat their beds. So during the first week of not greatness, we tried a bunch of different tactics, and we landed on bringing them in, letting them run around, and saying, Mommy and or Daddy will be back in 10 minutes. They don't understand the concept of time, but we will be back. And if you're not ready to lay down when I come back, I'm gonna take your passy. I basically told them, you don't need your pacifier if you're not gonna sleep. If you're not gonna lay down, you don't need your pacifier. So in the beginning, we would leave and we would come back and they'd still be running around. We'd take their pacifier and they'd get horrendously mad, and it wasn't great. I continued to be persistent with that same tactic, and now they don't even really let us leave. When I say, okay, we'll be back in a few minutes, and if you're not ready to lay down, we'll take your passies, they both get in bed and they want to be tucked in and they're ready to go. So they understand that whether or not they understand Mommy's going to take our passy, they understand that when Mommy comes back, they need to be in bed. So if you don't feel like it's working, give it time and be consistent, because they will understand this is what's going to happen if I don't lay down. It doesn't work after a week, maybe try something else. But as long as you're consistent, they will understand. They will get it as long as you're consistent. My last tip, which works for us, is books. So we let them pick a book or two that doesn't make noise, that's kind of small to read, and I will turn their hatch light as high up as it will go. My daughter will sit and read books, and it puts her to sleep. She's just like me. My son doesn't always read them, but he likes to have them in his bed. I don't know if he thinks he's gonna read them, but it helps them to be like, oh, we have something to look at. So that has really helped us as well. So in summary, 1 week was awful, then we went away for a week, and the next week was fine. So honestly, if we were home, I think it would have taken 2 weeks to fall into a routine, which is super tough for me. I wanted to give up a million times and bring the cribs back. I was like, forget it. But being super consistent is what really got us where we are, and we're in a really good spot. Also, the plan moving forward is to give them a couple more weeks to make sure they're good and stable with their routine and toddler beds, and then I will probably start with just the bookshelf back in here and see how they do with having access to their books. And then I may move in like the bin of stuffed toys just to kind of get them out of the living room. I don't plan on moving the rocking chair back in here. I never used it with my twins. We think we'll get more use of it out in the living room, especially when we have a new baby. So the plan will be to gradually implement new stuff in the room. So the idea behind gradually implementing new stuff is you want to treat the whole room as a crib. So baby proof the entire room, take everything out as if it were a crib. That way they have no access to nothing. So basically they come in here and they know that there's no toys in here, we're not playing, we go to sleep in here. So that has worked really well. I wish I would have started with that. I'm really happy with how it went. I obviously was super frustrated. Tears were shed on my part. I was super frustrated. I love my kids so much, but I live for that like 2 hours to get stuff done and just kind of relax. I usually end up just relaxing and not getting stuff done, but I live for those 2 hours, and I also know that they have a much better afternoon if they nap. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you have a very easily toddler bed transition, and I hope that 2 weeks is your max. You shouldn't really expect less than that, but anyway, I hope that everything's going well, and I hope to see you again.